Have you ever felt like you're living between two worlds? It's like your body is here, nodding in conversations, following routines, but your mind, your soul is elsewhere, perceiving something deeper, stranger, older than anything around you? Enter a room and feel the weight of something unspoken. You meet someone and instantly sense a story they haven't told. You dream, and that dream returns, not as fantasy, but as warning. And yet, no one seems to understand it. When you try to share what you perceive, you're met with silence, worse, mockery, so you retreat. You stop speaking what you feel. Little by little, you begin to doubt yourself. But what if that silent knowing is that quiet, invisible sensitivity you've carried your whole life was not madness? What if it was a gift? Not a weakness to hide, but a compass to follow. Most people fear what they cannot explain. But for some of us, the unexplained is where we live. If that speaks to you, then maybe you're not broken. Maybe you're something far rarer, not lost, just unrecognized. There is a quiet suffering that lives inside certain people. It's a kind of inner turbulence that doesn't scream, doesn't cry but corrodes slowly. It's the pain of perceiving what others ignore, of sensing patterns, energies, fractures, before they ever surface. You walk through life picking up whispers beneath the noise. You notice the unspoken tension in someone's words. You feel when something is about to change long before it does, but because what you see cannot be proven, you learn to doubt it. You shrink your truth to fit into conversations that feel hollow. You pretend you're fine when deep down you're flooded with invisible data. And this isn't about being dramatic. It's about a psychological reality. When perception is not expressed, it doesn't go away. It turns inward. It accumulates. Carl Jung warned of this. He said that what remains unconscious will eventually return as fate, and that's exactly what happens. You start to live in a world that denies what you feel. And in doing so, you begin to deny yourself. The intuitive mind, when silenced, doesn't disappear. It fragments. It creates distance between who you are and who you pretend to be. Soon, nothing feels real. You're surrounded by people, yet profoundly alone. You have vision, but no place to voice it. You have depth, but no space to dive. And so you begin to wear a mask of normality, of logic, of small talk. You hide your insight, because truth sounds like madness in a world addicted to facts. But the cost is high. You begin to feel disconnected from your own life. What once was intuition becomes confusion. What once was clarity becomes weight. And the inner world, once rich and alive, turns into a maze. This is the invisible erosion of the intuitive soul. It doesn't shout, it fades, until you forget that. You were ever meant to see. Carl Jung once wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. This is not poetry. It's instruction. A warning and a challenge. Jung understood something that most psychological systems ignore, that there are people who don't navigate reality through the seen, but through the sensed. They do not operate by cause and effect, but by pattern and possibility. For the intuitive introvert, the psyche is not a problem to be solved. It is a language to be interpreted, but what happens when that language has no listener? When the symbols that rise from the unconscious are met with silence or worse, ridicule? Jung called this inflation, when the ego becomes overwhelmed by the power of unconscious content. Instead of integrating the symbol, we become possessed by it. Subscribe to the channel and learn how to develop your mind, habits, and attitude to become the best version of yourself. Nietzsche hinted at the same danger. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. To live with powerful inner vision is not just a gift, it is a burden. And if unguarded, it becomes a trap. Intuition, when ignored, withers. But when worshipped without grounding, it distorts. You either deny the voice inside you, or you become consumed by it. Both are forms of loss, and both begin with the same mistake: believing the world will validate what only you were meant to see, To understand the intuitive introvert is to enter a world without maps. This is the type who lives at the threshold between what is and what is forming. They do not react to surface-level events. They respond to undercurrents, to subtle shifts in meaning, to whispers from the deep. They live with a sensitivity that is not physical, but psychic. While others ask what happened, the intuitive feels what will happen. They pick up on symbols that are still unborn, messages not yet put into words. Even if you do everything right, express, anchor, protects, there's still one final challenge. Living your truth in a world that does not want it. Modern society does not reward depth. It rewards speed, numbers, noise. It praises clarity, but fears complexity, so you'll be tested. You'll walk into rooms where your silence feels like failure. You'll feel pressure to perform, to be clear when your truth is fog, to be loud when your gift is in stillness. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to abandon yourself again. Don't, because this path you walk is strange and lonely. Road it leads somewhere real. It leads to individuation, to becoming who you actually are, not who you were trained to be. You are not here to be understood. You are here to reveal something no one else can see, and that is not arrogance. That is necessity. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs depth. It needs symbols. It needs those who have touched the invisible and returned, so let them call you strange. Better to be strange and sovereign than acceptable and hollow. You are not too much. You are just not yet recognized. But here's the problem. The world does not reward this. Society values what is measurable, provable, profitable. It doesn't care for what is only felt. And so, what begins as deep inner perception turns into quiet exile. These people often feel disconnected, not because they lack social skills, but because they speak a language no one around them understands. Imagine trying to describe a dream while everyone demands spreadsheets, or sensing that something is wrong, but having no facts to back it up. You're not believed. So you start to question yourself. This is not just frustrating. It is soul-crushing. Over time, you adapt. You stop trusting your perception. You dismiss your intuition as imagination. You bury your insights beneath small talk, routines, and fake smiles. And this is where the real danger begins. Not outside, but inside. When inner vision is not expressed, it begins to ferment. It doesn't disappear. It grows in the dark. Unacknowledged. It becomes distorted. Symbols lose their meaning and become obsessions. Visions become fantasies. The mind becomes a maze with no exit. You begin to live inside yourself, not with clarity, but confusion. Reality feels distant. Other people feel like actors. Time feels warped. You're awake, but not present. You're functioning, but not alive. This is not depression. It is psychic disintegration. Jung called this a form of possession. The unconscious takes over. Instead of using intuition as a tool, it becomes your tyrant. And what's worse, you look normal, you show up to work, you laugh at the right moments, you respond to messages, but inside, you're being erased. You become the ghost of a self that once saw clearly, and no one notices. This is the curse of the intuitive introvert. To see what others cannot. To feel what they ignore. To slowly lose the ability to express it. It's not the vision that hurts. It's the silence that follows it. This pain has no name. It hides in vague words. Tired, overwhelmed, disconnected. But what's really happening is this: you are drowning in a truth that no one wants to hear. So now, let me ask you, how many times have you silenced what you knew because you feared no one would believe you? How often have you swallowed the truth? Your body screamed, just to be polite? How many visions have you buried under the weight of what will they think? You weren't wrong. You weren't exaggerating. You were seeing, but instead of trusting that, you chose to adapt, and it's not your fault. This world wasn't made for people like you. It wasn't built to hold the invisible. It punishes subtlety. It rewards performance. But ask yourself honestly, when did you begin to abandon yourself? At what point did you start choosing comfort over clarity, fitting in over being true? You feel disconnected for a reason. Feel overwhelmed for a reason. You feel alone not because you're broken, but because you've spent too long translating your soul into a language that isn't yours. So the question is not whether the world understands you. The question is, do you still recognize yourself? And if not, how long are you willing to keep living like a stranger in your own mind? There is a way out, but it's not forward. It's not louder. It's not faster. The way out is inward. If you are an intuitive introvert, you must understand this. Your visions are not flaws. They are seeds, but seeds need ground. And you've been floating. The first step is not to explain yourself to others. It's to express yourself to yourself. The symbolic images inside you, those dreams. Premonitions, patterns, they are messages. Act. But if you don't give them form, they rot. Expression is not a luxury for you. It's survival, right? Paint, speak aloud what you see. Even if no one listens, make your inner world visible, not for approval, but for integration, and then anchor. Return to your body, feel your feet against the ground. Chop vegetables. Fold clothes. Clean your space with presence. These acts are not mundane. They are rituals. They remind the psyche, I am here. I am real. Jung taught that the path to wholeness is not to kill the unconscious, but to befriend it, to give form to the formless, to live at the crossroads of vision and embodiment. The goal is not to become normal, it's to become whole, and that requires limits, silence, withdrawal. You don't have to argue with the world. You have to stop betraying your own knowing. Not everyone will understand you. That's fine. Prophets are rarely recognized in their time. But the ones who survive are the ones who learn to speak their truth without needing applause. You're not here to convince. You're here to create, to make real what only you can see. Turn your silence into structure. Turn your isolation into initiation. Right. Turn your vision into form.